Welcome everybody to the Indie Empire. So tonight we are going to dish on a film we all just saw called Two's a Couple, Three's a Crowd. So what do y'all think of the film Two's a Couple, Three's a Crowd?
Who's gonna go first? Kmo?
Yeah, I go. So I like the film.
Okay, go.
Yeah, I like the film. It's more my speed on the budget end. I will say like the storyline, is the normal one that we see with the wife and the husband and neglect and all that. Husband working too much, trying to provide for her. She needs a little more attention. I wish I wanted to see a little more chemistry between the characters though. To me, it was just kind of like
Hmm.
I'm doing my role, I'm doing my part, and I'm gonna say my lines. But overall,
Hmm.
I feel like it was decent overall.
Okay.
I'm gonna go the opposite. Um, um, it left a lot to my imagination because when it starting off, it was just like, okay, what are we watching? What are you doing? What are
Hmm.
you doing? But it was the typical story: the husband working too much, and he goes somewhere, and the wife goes somewhere, and what have you. And
Right.
the ending, bringing the ending around, was just like, okay, kind of like shocker. Well, I guess, but there to me there wasn't enough lead up to different things going on. It just kept my imagination was like, okay, you want me to really write this story in my head? So
Right.
that's where I was. It just wasn't enough lead up to different parts. But I got it, and I watched it, and yeah.
And to pick it back off of you, Kenya, one of the notes I did wrote down when watching the film and got to the end is that it was like right at an hour. So I feel like it could, with a little bit, like maybe 30 more minutes, would have told the middle that we all had missed.
Yeah.
Not well, I'm not gonna say we missed. I just feel like we can't miss something that wasn't there. So I feel like with the extra 30 minutes, they could have added in some more information. Therefore, some of the things they did talk about would make sense to us and would have a complete story. So that I just want to pick it back off of you. Go ahead, Rachel or Les. What y'all got?
I'm a pick at the storyline. So I I liked it. I got it the second time. It took me a while to figure out what was going on because for me, like Coco said, there's no chemistry. So I was like, who is the wife? What's going on? So that confused me. But once I
Mm-hmm.
got the memo of it, I was like, okay, it makes sense. But
Got it.
the husband kept saying he did everything he could to work on that marriage. And I did not see it. It just wasn't believable. And that right there, I was like, come on, man. Like, I want to root for him because he is going to work.
Right.
But where's
Yeah.
this working on the marriage? All I see you doing is with old girls. So, I wish they would have maybe had more time to show that or maybe gone a different direction. But that to me was like, I'm not seeing it. So I don't believe this character.
Yeah. I
I want to
mean, it
believe.
was. And there was a lot of things that wasn't believable. And that's when I'm writing my stories, whether it's a stage play or a film, I always go to how the audience or the viewers going to react as far as because I hate to hear somebody say, "Oh, that would never happen," or "That's not real." Stuff like that don't happen. I don't like hearing that because now you're selling a fake story. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that wasn't believable to me. Les, you got something?
Yeah, I mean, I'll hit it from the technical side. So let's start with some of the good. So
Okay.
there are a few places where lighting is on point, like close-ups. I was like, okay, like I'm feeling this close-up shot, and that's where I think this movie shined in some of the close-ups, but there
Hmm.
was a lot of technical issues. However, like just jerky camera movement, like just things from a technical standpoint that could also take the viewer out of it, from a technical side. And I mean, I know we're talking about acting and the storyline and everything, but from the technical, like actual execution of the camera to even editing, Like there's certain parts where the 180 kind of line is broken, so you have a character talking this way and then the other character is talking in the same direction, so technically incorrect. um,
Hmm.
but for the most part, once like some of those things were fixable in the edit. But that's one of the things for me personally that um, I'm always looking at lighting, camera, the technical side of things. And actually, when I did the research, because I was like, whenever I look at movies, I look at who shot it, what they shot it with, and everything. And I could just immediately look at it and tell that it was shot on a Blackmagic pocket camera. And then when I went
See,
to the cinematographer's page and I saw the behind the scenes, I was like, boom, I was right, because it's like I could just tell, and like me as a viewer, I would like to not be able to tell what camera it's shot with. I mean, it could be shot with any camera, but if I
mhm.
can pick it apart, then like I know other people will.
You know what? I would have never thought that that's a camera they use. For one, I don't know all my cameras. Okay,
Same.
all the cameras I know are what it is:
Yeah,
Luminance.
Lumix.
I know
Uh-huh.
Canons. I know Red, and I know the Black Magic. That's all I know. Looking at the film and say, "Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's that." To me, hell, everything look like a iPhone 12, 13, and 14 to me. I'm just
Well, and the thing is, it's like like at the end of the day, you kind of want, the movie to speak for itself to where no one's really worried
Mhm.
about what camera is shot on or what it looks like. Because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter if the story's good, if, the person either behind the camera or the direction is good, if the acting is on point, then you're in the story. You're not worried about the technical. But because of these little things here or there with either the technical or the acting or the story, then us all as viewers, we start to kind of pick apart certain things, I think.
All right, so what we're gonna do, y'all? Let's run down our good and bad of the film, okay, and then what we can do to improve. So one of the notes I have on here is, do y'all remember in the beginning when the new lady, I think she was a secretary or something, she was being
Yeah.
hired as an assistant or whatever. She walked in, and the whole entire time, um, she was talking. All we saw was the back of her head, and we really could not see him.
Right.
So we lost connection instantly at that moment. What y'all think about that? Like, did y'all all notice that
I
also?
I saw that as well. I saw that as well. And then when they turned the focus, the tattoos threw me off. There was and I was gone. I was out of the scene. I was just waiting for the next scene. It was the way her clothes were, and I get it. They wanted to make her sexy, but it was unbelievable. It was forced. It was a
Yeah.
Right.
force being make her sexy. And I'm gonna stop there because I got so much. Oh my god.
Now I would say one way that they could have fixed that is if we had a sort of B-roll of her, get out of her car with her legs first or something,
Yes.
walking down the hallway, you know, other people, because there was other people in the office. Some of the guys in the office could have kind of like glanced at her with a certain look. So now we know that a moment is about to happen. Because we did start the movie with them. We saw the different couples, having their issues. I didn't know that him and his wife had an issue until later on. Maybe it was just me. I'm not sure. But then when we lead up to go to the office, we could have saw those things. And when she went into the office, he could have gave a certain look, but we couldn't see that because she blocked him. And like I said, that's when a disconnect
That
Yeah.
entire
happened.
scene, that entire scene was not
Yeah.
believable for me as far as a new employee coming, a new sexy employee coming into a business
Hmm.
and introducing themselves to the boss, which later on will be their lover and man or what have you. But it wasn't convincing to me because of her back was there the entire time. And then when they
Right.
did turn it, it was just like, who is
It
this
was
woman?
it,
Yeah.
it was gone all of a sudden. Another thing I did, I would say PAs are very important on set. Okay, and then you have your continuity person, but with all the eyes on set, the boom was in the reflection a couple of times. Did y'all
Yeah, for
notice
sure.
that?
No, for sure.
It was there, and it was a big boom too.
Well,
So
and
you
here
know,
I
let's
seen it a
utilize.
couple of times, but I kind of,
let's
yeah.
talk about the scene that you were just talking about too, because also too, besides the fact that editing could have helped take care and cut and cover some of the believability if you cut out of the back of her to a front shot or a reaction
Hmm.
shot from the the lead guy. In that same scene, speaking of boom pole, there's literally a boom pole outside the window that you can see, and the window is closed. So, what audio are they getting through the window from an exterior? That when I saw that, for me, I was that just completely threw me off because certain things I can kind of let go, but that for
Hmm.
me was a like that was just disrespectful to me. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like, because that just doesn't make any sense. And I mean, like, I am very lenient and gracious, and I try to do the best that I can to help teach. I also mentor filmmaking. Like, if it makes sense, then do it. But for me, that just was interesting. I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they had the little lapel mics. Maybe they had lapel mics, which I wish they had used lapel mics in that bar scene because a lot of that audio I did not
You could not hear
Yeah,
them.
there was a lot of
You
times I
could
could not
not.
hear
It
them.
was so much
catch. Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Another note is so going off of where I think I can't remember who said it, but it was saying when his wife was like, "You work a lot, you always in the office and stuff like that." I feel like one of the things that we should have seen was a montage of Kevin day to day activities to match up to what she was saying.
Yeah.
Do we all agree on
I definitely agree
Yes,
with
it was
Agree.
that. A
not
build up. Like
believable.
I need to see what was going
It
on.
wasn't
Yeah,
believable at all.
it was
No.
not
that?
believable.
Because we saw the other couple, and of course I had to write it down now. Right now I can't remember. I think it was Terrell and Nicole, the one that always argue a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Was it that couple? We did see them argue, so
Mm-hmm.
we know this couple fights. And then throughout the show, we saw them having their ups and downs. So that was an okay connection to
Even
me.
the other
I,
couple, we know that he was a
Cheats a lot.
cheater with the cousin.
yeah,
We
Yeah.
we
right.
knew
It,
we knew
we
that
just
because it was
we just
said.
lost the
But
and we just lost the main connection of the main
The
characters
main
of the show.
character.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
The main character did not get enough storyline. Um, next, the time mishap. So I'm gonna read off my note what I saw in the film. The guys was gonna be out late, which means they're gonna be out late at night after work. Then they showed his wife Karen out. I think, not Karen. Is it Karen?
Karen.
I
And
didn't write the
then
names down.
Yeah, I think it's Karen.
okay, and then when Kevin finally came home after the bar, because we did see them in the bar, it was still daylight outside.
Still
But
daylight.
but they said the guy's gonna be out late, and then the girls was like, they was gonna go and do something too. Well, when Kevin finally came home, it was brighter than it was when we saw the guys at the bar. So if you're gonna use B-roll of a time lapse, make sure we use the right time lapse. If we can use a day to night or evening, and then him coming in the house late and them having an argument about them coming to the house because she was in bed. We should have seen some kind of darkness outside to match up to the time. Therefore, we know where we at in this timeline. What y'all got on
Well, if they didn't spend the whole scene talking, maybe they could have used all that extra time to show those montages because that was a very long and unnecessary scene. I hate to say that, but a lot of the dialogue there, I was just like, Okay, like, are we gonna see this later? Is this going to? It's not. It's just like blah blah blah. Let's talk because we're at the bar and we're supposed to be hanging with our boys, but it wasn't giving hanging with the boys. It was giving very sad men, and I don't think that's what this is
Right,
going for. So I was like,
right.
I couldn't even focus on anything else because I'm like, what am I looking at? Why are they still at this table talking? Like that must be the boringest time. Like I just, I just wanted to believe in this character so much because the story it had potential, but
So you still stuck on the
oh,
believable parts.
that story in
It
the
it
storyline is
wasn't.
just
It was a
unnecessary
bar. They were
scenes.
at the club. Where were the extras?
Right,
Can you
right.
want your next? Do
That's another thing.
you want an IMDb credit? Come
The
on,
bartender,
being
like
let's just we need bar people. We need people at the club. Where
Yeah,
were
we
the
do.
people?
Now, the other thing, I got three more. This one, okay. Nicole gave okay, do y'all remember the scene when Nicole gave a look like she had saw something?
Yes, in the car. She was in the car,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
I think she was in the car, she was on the phone, and then
yeah.
she said she did that look like this, and then
mm-hmm,
she told
mm-hmm.
homegirl, I'll call you back,
I'll
let
call
me
you
call you
back.
back.
Yeah.
We never saw what that was. I was waiting the
Mm-hmm.
whole entire movie to see what that was. I wish we could
She
have
saw
saw it.
all the way in the building to her man's floor. It's the seventh floor. She saw all the way to the seventh floor him talking to the coworker. That's what she
So that's what that
because
was?
that was the very next thing. It was
Yeah.
like
You have to
you
use your
in your car
Okay.
on
imagination.
the street. How you
Now,
see?
okay, so hold on. So maybe, so now this is where this is where the writer and the director wanted us to fill in the blank. Do you think just because that was her cousin, I think that he was messing around with, wasn't that her cousin?
I think
I
so.
think it was her.
I think
I
it
want to
was.
say that was her cousin. So maybe
Really?
she saw. Yeah, it was a cousin. She saw her cousin go into the building, and that probably gave her that like, wait, why is she here?
But it, but if she seen her go in, no, if she seen her go into the building, and then they had time to have
Right,
photo
See, the fact that
sets.
we
right.
got to do all this is the problem. I just want to watch it. I don't want to
I
have
just
to
want to watch it too
imagine.
because that scene was unnecessary.
That's
That
Hmm.
should have been her coming out of the building, and then you see her coming out, your cousin coming out of the building, and that's when you like, okay, let me go up here and see why she coming out of this building.
Right,
Not
and
yeah.
because
that
it
now
was
that
too
would add
long
a.
because they had sex after the
They
man
sure
had
did.
sex.
Or they could have
It
revealed
took
it
Sure
forever to
later.
put
did.
his shirt on.
Yeah, they could have
Yeah,
revealed
they
it
could they
later.
could have reviewed it later. That's why I say I was went through that whole movie trying to figure out what it was that she saw. Um,
It was in the wrong
okay,
spot.
here's a director's note, and I want all y'all to give me feedback on this and tell me did y'all notice something? And this is from a director's point of view. When Homegirl gave the pregnancy announcement, did the reaction match the announcement?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like I said earlier, the acting was underwhelming. It was just kind of just like, all right, I said my line. Okay, I did my reaction for me. Like
For
it was
Uh
just
me,
huh.
underwhelming acting. Yeah.
Because I mean, one thing about it is, if I find out, any man would be happy that he has a child coming. The way that especially if it was planned, the way he reacted, I feel like he wasn't happy about him having a baby.
mm,
But he wanted, he was saying he was excited, and they're supposed to be excited, and this, but he gave out the sense of, I don't want it. Which means later on in the film, he should have found ways or, some kind of dialogue would have led to either get rid of the baby, put the baby up for adoption. We're not ready. That's what I put together, but that's not what it was. And then throughout the whole thing, we only saw one more reaction to the pregnancy when all the girls, when everybody was together, and that was it.
hmm
And that was it. So it was an incomplete story from beginning to end, but hopefully it's a part two, and they watch this video and we're like, you know what? Let me take in
Part
what they were
two.
saying.
Part. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
we did the camera angles. Can we talk about that again? The camera
hold
angle
on.
in the
I got
shower,
one. I
I
got
have the
one
word
more.
nipple on
the
mine. So
nipple in the shower, the nipple
The
in the
the
shower.
the infamous nipple.
Why
I
was the
got.
camera there? Why was the camera there?
That's a Les question. Les, you good with the
Les,
camera
why was
angles?
the camera
Did it
there?
make sense to put the camera right there?
It did not make sense to put the camera there at all because, like, for one, you have nipplage, but then also too, you're looking really low and up into the secretary's nostrils, which is not flattering at all.
Mhm.
And I get wanting to give someone power by shooting up from like a film theory standpoint, but just not like the right choice there.
So on the good side of it, what do you think that DP should do in a case like this?
So like I said at the beginning of this, the close-ups were nice and
Mhm.
like they looked like they were lit, which was very nice. If the wide shots kind of matched the close-ups, then it would be a completely different feeling movie. The wide shots were just like you just stick a camera there, you capture the lines and then move on. And there's ways to like use composition to
Mhm.
help tell the stories and help like lead the audience, like screen direction, help the actors as well with um the film theory aspects of it and stuff too. But if the filmmaker works a little bit more on just making the wide shots as interesting as the close-ups, then it would be a better film. And again, like we don't know what the crew was like and if it was just a one man type situation. And I
Mhm.
get that as well too. So there's only so much that one person can do or a small crew can do in an allotted time. But just putting more detail into the wides and production design. And I'll try not to go too into it, but one of the things for me from a production design standpoint, the wife, when she was having a conversation on the couch, her
Mhm.
print was matching the couch. And she was
Mm.
literally like a floating head, where I'm like, okay, how did you find the exact same print as the couch? That for me, I was like, okay, like that just didn't make sense. Um, so just things like that to just keep an eye on from a technical standpoint, because even people behind the camera, you might not deal as much with wardrobe or makeup
Mhm.
or this or that, but because you see something and you could say, hey, can we maybe change this outfit? Like you don't have to be a wardrobe stylist to know that, okay, if I'm shooting a person in an army outfit outside in the forest and I only can see their face and you want to see the
Mhm.
entire, like, why are we shooting camouflage outside? um,
Right.
Similar type situation interior wise. So I would just say, like, pay attention to the details if you can.
Mhm. Right. I agree.
I
Um,
agree.
the last one that I have now, this right here threw me. I don't know what this is supposed to be a twist in the story or what, but this threw me. The connection of the threesome.
It threw me for sure
Um,
as well. I wasn't
it
expecting that.
and then all of a sudden they end up in a poly relationship.
Right.
So where's all that connection at? It
What
was
happened
just
to
it
the
seemed like it was
dreadlock
too
man?
easy.
What happened to the dreadlock
Yeah,
man that she
Yeah.
met months ago, but a
Mm-hmm.
week ago? Did y'all
right.
catch that
Like
line?
Yep.
when you told me about it, I made sure I paid attention. I'm like, wait, that really did make sense.
You
So
met her months ago, but a week ago. But okay.
so yeah, I didn't. I that could have been a good twist, but the things
It
that
just
led up
didn't.
to it, it didn't make sense for them to end up in a poly relationship.
Mm-mm.
It did. I mean, we had also more dialogue. Again, the main characters did not have a strong enough storyline like everybody else
Mm-hmm.
did. They felt
And
like,
why have the baby girl, the daughter of the
yeah,
baby? Why? There was no purpose in having that baby girl.
at
That
all.
was a section that could have been cut out.
Mm-hmm.
But she got
Mm-hmm.
paid, I hope.
She did. So what y'all? So what notes? What notes y'all have? Rachel, I saw your notebook. Did I touch on any of the
But
notes
I
you had?
mean, you touched on pretty much all of them. Like
You
I said, we
did.
covered the nipple, the I was confused about why this person got with this person, but I will say this: I did enjoy the couple that argued. I don't know if it was
Yes.
because they just had chemistry, but they really sold it for
Yeah.
me. I
Yep.
felt like if the director really would have just pushed the actors to kind of, like you said, just show more emotions or be more in the scene, they would have done fine
Hmm.
because none of them were terrible. It was just they
No,
weren't selling the character, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the
that's
main
it
thing as the actor. Like if you ain't got nothing on the paper, fill that in, and they were not filling nothing in. They wanted us to
at
fill it in,
all.
but did not show anything. So with
And you
At
can tell
all.
that they weren't. You can tell that they weren't feeling. You could tell that they say they lines,
yes,
and then
Yep.
that's it.
yeah, and
There
it
was a
wasn't
couple
Yep.
of
everybody.
times that somebody stopped and looked at the camera. They said their line, and then they looked at the camera. It's like, why
Looked at
are
the
you
camera.
looking at the
Right,
camera?
exactly. And
You're
and like
still
you
Oh
in
said,
the
yeah.
it
scene.
wasn't
Nobody said
everybody.
cut.
A lot of them, they just need a little bit more direction, more push. They would have had it, but a lot of them did fine. But like I said, the main
Yeah.
thing was just it wasn't believable, and
Yeah.
that's the part that really just made me sad. It had nothing
Yeah.
really to do with the acting, more so of just like you said, the cuts and just them not giving the chemistry. You could have, I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know. I wanted to
I would
believe
have
in the story
rather
because I like
liked
the
the
title.
fighting couple. I would have rather liked the
Yeah.
fighting couple to be the lead couple because
Yeah,
their
Right.
chemistry was better than everybody else's.
yeah,
And
Um,
that.
yeah, they got through it. They did it, and that's the good thing. They did
yeah.
it. They got
I was
through it.
rooting for
They
them.
remembered their lines. There was a
Yep.
scene where the one husband was at home and sleeping with the cousin. He still had he got from under the cover, and the underwear were completely on, and that bothered me. It bothers me. You don't have to be naked, but you could cover up. I don't want to see your black drawers if she just got off of you
Yeah.
and I see your underwear. That's not convincing to me,
Yeah.
and I see
Yeah,
it.
those things
And
weren't
I
convincing.
get it. You don't want to be touching body fluids and all of that kind of stuff. But there's ways around that.
Mhm.
But that
And
was but anyway, they get the lighting, good lighting, good
yeah.
camera angles was awesome time. Props. Y'all better call me because them
Listen.
props was horrible.
Listen.
Horrible.
Cause that. Cause what food that was eating? She
That
said
was
she cooked a
KFC.
whole
Popeyes.
meal.
It was a
You said
Nuh-uh.
Popeye.
That
She said
biscuit, that
KFC.
was a
I tried to see
KFC
the.
biscuit.
I was like, I had to see the biscuit. I had to see the biscuit.
I was
Old girl
like,
was eating the mashed potatoes. I said she must be vegan. Because why she
I
eating mashed
said,
potatoes
what?
with that
I
chicken?
said, wait a minute. I thought she cooked a good meal. I could have made that meal look good.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was
then
her own
they
fault.
didn't. Then they took a couple of nibbles, and then it was over. Oh, that was good. You didn't eat anything. At least do a
Show an empty
time
plate.
span,
That or
Piece of
just
cake.
show
and the
them.
plate is half empty.
She said a piece of cake.
That piece of cake got
And then she brought the
this
cake and
much
had
cake.
that was that
It
cake
had
from
that.
Walmart. Y'all know that
Yeah.
dollar
Now,
cake in the
okay.
bakery area.
So
I
since
forgot
we
all about the cake.
we
Y'all
are talking
better
about
call me for props.
but since we are talking about props and set design, I will say this right here. That birthday scene was a full scene.
Mhm.
They had enough extras. It was a birthday party, and they kind of amped up a little bit of suspense when they tried to have an argument or disagreement. But again, like y'all said, with the acting, they wasn't pushed enough to make that whole scene very suspenseful the way the writer intended to be. And speaking of writer, the writer of
They
that
didn't
one,
need the
one second,
baby. They didn't need the baby at all.
but since the
They
baby
could
was
have did
in
this
there,
entire show with that entire film without that baby.
but since the baby was in there, we got to speak on
Sitting there
what we
eating tortilla chips and no birthday cake was on the table. A
got.
case of lemon lime sodas, a happy birthday sign from Bolette
Okay,
Troy.
Dang, baby ain't had
okay,
no hot dogs, no nothing.
No
Oh,
hot
be quiet.
dogs. No.
So okay, but okay, so we gotta wrap this section up. So, Kamo, you have anything?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay, unless you have anything, you went through
um,
yours.
yeah, I kind of went through mine. I just want to like from wrapping up. I covered a lot of the quote unquote bad, but the good, in my opinion, is the fact that I know how hard it is to make a movie, and the fact that there is a movie that's made that's on Tubi that we can watch. Good job.
Hmm.
So just want to say
Right,
that for
right.
sure to
And
all
since
the
we
people it involved.
giving good jobs, the writer was Brandon Holland, and the director was Mark Wilson. So shout out to you all for starting and completing a film. Now I'm gonna say this on my end. Um, I will review the movie 3 stars, 3 out of 5. Okay, I'm giving you three out of 5 stars. For the movie because it was watchable. There were some things that were missing, but at least it was watchable. So I give it 3 out of 5. Rachel, what you got? What's your feedback?
I'm gonna go ahead and say the same thing. I'm gonna give it a 3.5, only because it was 90 minutes. Because if it was longer than, or no, not 90 minutes, but about 60 minutes, it wasn't super long. So that way the confusion had stopped by then. So I'm gonna just give about three and
Hmm.
a half because I couldn't. I'm not gonna lie. I had to watch it like a couple times to figure out what was going on.
Got it. Okay.
And I should
Les,
probably do
what
that.
you got?
I'm gonna give it like a 1.5.
Okay.
I knew he was gonna do
Okay.
that.
Any feedback you want to give them?
Just I mean, like we kind of talked a lot about the writing, the technical, just like there's just a lot that they could work on that could bring those star numbers up for me personally. So it's just
Hmm.
kind of working out the execution of everything as a whole because there wasn't really any like strong like oh the acting was stellar or the audio was stellar or anything was stellar and like there was just a lot of weak points for me.
Okay. All right. Kenya?
I am going to give it a 2 and 3/4. Again, as Les said, there was nothing that was stand outish. The main thing that
Mhm.
I can remember is the chicken and the boob and the boob the camera. Those were the main things, and I shouldn't be remembering that type of stuff. I got
Mhm.
through it the one time. I wasn't gonna watch it 2 times. No, that's not gonna be 2 90 minutes out of my life span to watch. Um, but yeah, 2 and 3/4, and I thank them for giving me something to watch. And
All right.
yeah, go on to the
All
next
right.
one. Let's go.
All right. Came on, what you got?
KMO.
So I say a 2 out of 5. Simply because I'm the viewer standpoint of this operation, and so I just simply watch it for enjoyment. So, but a lot of like y'all said, a lot of the things, all the things we said are true from me. So yeah, it's a two out
Mhm.
of five, for sure for this film. But I enjoyed it still.
All righty. So there you have it. Two is a crowd, three is a couple. We did enjoy the film. We did.
We
Uh,
did.
we look we look for more from you all. Keep going, keep pushing, and we'll be able to look out and see what else. What's the writer name? The writer is Brandon. Brandon, look, keep writing. Take what we said. Utilize it. We are here to help you, and we looking to see what else you put out there for us to watch. Okay.